Welcome back to Daily Flash. The Oscars are going to take place the second Sunday in March.
Yes, it is the final big awards show for the season, and our very own Hollywood insider Steve Helling joining us now to dish on the nominees, who he thinks will win, who should win, and who got snubbed.
First off, Steve, welcome back to the big show. Let's talk about some of the Best Picture nominees. This is what everybody wants. Let's get to the meat of it.
Yeah, we've got the list here, Mitch, so we're going to run down the list. You start with the first
American
five.
Fiction, which, Jackson, you can't stop talking about this movie.
I love this movie so much.
I'm really looking forward to it. Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, and Killers of the Flower Moon, which actually, if you went to go watch this movie, it's still playing right now.
Yes,
because it is the longest movie I've seen.
The other, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest round out the top 10 Best Picture nominations. So let's start with the odds-on favorite, Oppenheimer. What do you think, Steve?
I think it will probably end up winning. It's been getting all these other awards. And frankly, you can't beat the all-star cast, and Oscar voters love that. So I think that I don't necessarily feel like that was the best movie of the year, but I think it's the one that will win.
It got a lot of buzz by all means, and I think the nostalgia of it, and then Robert Downey Jr. I think also getting some nods for that. So very interesting.
Cillian Murphy, Christopher Nolan as the director. So I think he will probably win as director, and I think Cillian Murphy win as actor.
It had to do well, because if it wasn't, it would have been a bomb in the box office.
Yeah.
So it had. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot on the line when you do a movie about Oppenheimer, right?
Okay, one of my favorites this year, and this was a surprise to me, American Fiction with Jeffrey Wright.
I think that is the better movie.
I love
really
this movie
do.
so much.
I think it's the better movie. I don't think it will win. I think it didn't get it didn't have the buzz that the others did. But I think it's one that I would recommend if I wanted to say what my best movies of the year are. That's one of them.
It's such a sleeper too, because you don't really know much going into it, and it's such a surprise when you watch it.
All right, I like that, and like I said, I know you love this movie. It just came out. I mean, here we are. We're in February, but it just came out like recently too,
in theaters,
which is just to get, and it obviously got nominated. Probably had a limited release.
In December.
All right, they're saying it's an important movie to watch. I've actually heard people say this, but Barbie, lots of buzz around Barbie. Is it an Oscar contender for Best Picture, though?
I think it's an honor to be nominated. I mean, like, it really is. Like, it was a really well done movie. Don't get me wrong. It's cute. It's everything, and it has a message to it. But I don't think you can really compare that with an Oppenheimer.
No.
You just can't.
It's fun, and Ryan Gosling getting a Best Actor nod, and people outraged that. Why am I drawing a blank on her name? Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie did not get nominated. I'm surprised that he even got a nomination.
Which is interesting, because both the Oscar statue and Ken are both eunuchs. So that's going to be interesting to watch them carry that. Bradley Cooper actually turned in a performance. His nose, I'm surprised, didn't get nominated, behind Maestro, but they're actually really not that far to actually take on that much hardware, actually.
Well, actually, there is a controversy behind it. You know, the nose, the prosthetic nose. There's talk about whether they should have hired a Jewish actor. So I think that a lot of times when there's a little bit of controversy that stirs around like that, it really does affect during award season, whether, people want to vote for that or not. I think he did a great job.
I think that was phenomenal.
Bradley Cooper has shown that he is a versatile actor, and he really does a good job.
I feel like he's like a Robert Redford or a Robert De Niro or even a Cary Grant, and that they're constantly getting nominated, but they never win because they're so talented at what they do.
And I am sorry for my ignorance. Didn't he direct?
He directed it too.
Okay, cool.
So not only did he star in it, and he helped write the screenplay, but he also directed it. What about the nearly 4-hour movie from Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon?
So, of all 10, that's the one that I have yet to see. Okay. And the reason why I have yet to see it is that it's not the time. It's just I really have to psych myself up to go into a movie that's more than... When we get to 3 hours, I mean, back in our day, it would have 2 videos at Blockbuster.
You're right.
And it's like... I have just finally gotten myself to being able to watch a whole movie without looking at my phone. I just don't know if I can do it for 4 hours.
It's interesting. Out of all of these movies, you got Oppenheimer, based on true story, Flower Moon as well, true story. Barbie, true story. Yeah, no, I was going to say that, but there's a life behind it, right? Yeah. as well as Leonard Bernstein. When talking
Yes.
about it. So it's interesting to see all like these true stories. I think that's what America wants.
Right.
I have to say, I was on the same page with you. I wasn't even going to watch it, but then it came to Apple TV, and we were looking for something to watch, and I'm like, okay, I'll start it, but I don't think I'll finish it. And I got completely sucked in.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
that's
would
what I've
say,
heard, and-
it went by fast.
And I got to tell you this though, I think it's we were joking about important movies. I think it's an important movie because
Yes.
it was denied by
absolutely.
history. A lot of people don't know this,
Yes.
and then you hear what happened and how regular. And I lived in Oklahoma. I didn't know
Okay.
about that, and, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, wow, and this really happened, and it got. I think there was a lot of discussion afterwards.
Right.
And if a movie can do that, I think it really helps out.
Well, I think it certainly deserves the nomination, and maybe it deserves the win.
Okay.
I'll
That
let you
would
know.
be an upset,
I'll let you know.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That was okay. That was my question. So, do you think is that your pick? Would you say?
No, my pick is Oppenheimer. I mean,
Okay.
it's my pick.
Any snubs? Any upsets?
Not really. I mean, I thought May December might be nominated. It was such a good
It
movie.
was a good movie, yeah.
But I understand why it wasn't. I think there's still a little bit of a stigma of, oh, that was really a streaming movie. That was,
Do you think if this movie, let's say Killers of the Flower Moon, and a lot of these movies are going longer, do you think this is going to be a trend? Because people aren't really going to theaters anymore.
God, I hope
Theaters
not.
hate these long movies.
And I hope it isn't.
I mean, I agree.
I have things to do.
Yeah.
No, I think that I think you really have to have something to say for a movie to be that long. Don't be 4 hours just to be 4 hours.
Definitely.
I always say when those movies go on like that, it's like, well, the charm of every movie is in the editing, and you almost, and if
Yeah.
you can't go 4 hours, apparently you don't have a good editor, is my opinion.
Steve, thank you. Always
thank you.
so,
So good to be
see
here.
you. The Oscars will be held on March 10th. Where can people find you, Steve?
They can find me on Instagram. That's the best place. Steve Helling. They can find me on Twitter. Steve Helling. I'm not very. It's Steve Helling.
You just look
it.
for Steve.
Google me. It's
yeah.
fine.
And simply stevehelling.com. I
Yes.
asked him for his email last night, which was dumb of me. I should have known that.
Steve at SteveHelling.com.
Exactly.
All right, we'll be back with more.